what drives the effects and everything here is coming from the line out of this amplifier, which is essentially picking right off of the output transformer, padded down, and going to all of the effects. So you get the whole sound of the amplifier patch going through the effects when you've selected any of the effects. Okay. Now, when it comes to the effects, basically what we're doing here is the amplifier is driving all the effects simultaneously if they're selected. Okay. Obviously on the board you can select which effects you want. All of the effects then are in stereo and they mix through the line mixer here. Okay, all of the stereo effects are added together, blended together, and they come out left and right through the VHT power amp and into your left and right cabinets, right? Okay, so in this case we got dry in the middle, left on that side, right on that side, okay? Now when it comes to selecting effects, or actually I should say what comes out of the VHT will be determined by what you've selected on the board. Okay? So when we start using the VHT, it's going to be driven by the Bogner amplifier. You'll hear the sound of the Bogner amp coming driven through the VHT on the left and right sides, and you'll hear the dry Bogner amplifier down the middle. Now, since we're mixing all these effects together and you have the ability to choose which effects you have on at any given time, in other words, any combination of those effects being whatever you choose to use here, any or all of them or any combination in between. You also have the ability to select dry signal that will end up coming out here too, because here's the thing. You're always going to hear the Bogner amplifier, the one single cabinet or one or maybe two dry cabinets, whatever you choose to have, okay? Those will always be active all the time. You're playing guitar through this rig, you're going to hear the dry cabinet, okay? The effects of the icing on the cake, okay? And you have the ability then to, if none of the effects are selected and no dry sound is selected, no sound is going to come out of those cabinets, you see, because you have the ability here in this system to have either these cabinets be 100% wet effect. Remember, you're always hearing the dry sound. The dry sound is always there in the middle. You have the ability in the system to select whether or not the effects are 100% wet, meaning only echo return, only reverb, chorusing, whatever, only, and you're basically acoustically mixing them. You're hearing the dry sound and you're hearing the wet sound on either side of it in stereo. Okay? Now you also have the ability to hear some of that dry sound come out of these wet cabinets as well. You see, you can select dry on the pedal board just as you would in effect. And only dry sound is then going to come out of these left sides. Or you can have a combination of dry and effect coming out of those, what we call the left and right wet cabinets. Do you understand what I mean? So you have all of these combinations here. And by having all of these combinations, you should be able to, within presets in this system, call up any of the effects in the system, number one, bring them into the signal path and have them come out stereo amp. Also, you'll be able to select what patches on the individual effects that are called up as well. Now, that requires more programming expertise, and we'll get into that in a minute. But suffice to say right now, without even doing any MIDI patch change stuff here at all, without even considering patch changing anything, you go to the effects, call up a particular preset manually, and you'll be able to engage that effect on the foot controller here in front of you.